classic games are returning with new life, bringing familiar worlds back for both longtime fans and new players. These upcoming remakes aim to update well-known experiences while keeping the heart of what made them memorable. Let's get into it. Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly Remake revisits a psychological horror story built around twin sisters trapped in a forgotten village bound to dark rituals. The game aims to reintroduce its narrative through a more modern presentation while preserving the slow, uneasy pacing. Supernatural encounters and personal loss remain central, creating an atmosphere built on silence, dread, and emotional weight.
音量の透明感や歪みは特別な処理を使用しています。また舞台となる水上村の暗く不気味な雰囲気は光と画面の描写にこだわり、空気感をリアルに表現しました。さらにサウンドは 7.1.4 チャンネルに対応し、霊がいる気配をもっと身近に感じられるようになっています。20年前のタイトルを最新技術でリメイクしておりますので、今様々なホラーゲームを遊んでいるプレイヤーにも新作として遊んでいただけるクオリティになっていると思います。霊を撮影することで撃退する戦闘が特徴的なシリーズなんですけども、霊をしっかり見つけてシャッターを切る従来の戦闘システムを踏襲しつつ、ピントやズーム、フィルターなど、よりカメラの動く体験を強化する要素を取り入れました。フィルターを切り替えていくことで、見え方が変わっていくんですけども、フィルターは戦闘探索でそれぞれ特徴的な機能を持っています。ですので、襲ってくる霊や状況でフィルターを切り替えながらゲームを進めていくことになります。フルリメイクとして、プレイヤーキャラクターの操作性やアニメーションを徹底的に見直しました。全面的にはスペースを改定してありますので、特にプレイヤーキャラクターの操作感とアニメーションの滑らかさには注目いただきたいです。実際に廃墟になった村を探索するような没入感が高いプレイが楽しめるようになっていると思います。また今作ではですね、操作性や霊との戦闘、レベルデザインなどは、チーム忍者のアクション RPG 制作の経験やノウハウも生かしたリメイクを行っています。チーム忍者のアクションタイトルに多く携わってきた中島秀彦がもう一人のディレクターとして関わっているので、シリーズで最も手触りが良いタイトルになっています。姉である舞と手をつなぐという新要素を追加しました。このことで、ストーリー面だけでなく、アクション面からも姉妹の絆を強く感じられるようになったと思います。この要素はですね、20年前にも検討していたのですが、様々な理由で断念しました。今回フルリメイクでようやく実現したようと思います。探索できる場所や収集要素も増えているので、シリーズファンの方にも新たな楽しみがあると思うとなっています。
すぐに戻るから。
では、赤い蝶リメイクは、シリーズ2作目を今の技術でフルリメイクしたタイトルになります。シリーズ2作目のリメイクなんですけども、このシリーズはそれぞれストーリーが完結したタイトルですので、この1本で楽しむことができます。シリーズファンの方、そして初めてのユーザーの方にもぜひ遊んでいただきたいです。2026年初頭発売になります。シリーズで最も美しく、最も怖いゲームになっていますので、ぜひご期待ください。
Is back. Ubisoft Toronto has begun work on a remake of Sam Fisher's most classic operations.
Splinter Cell Remake returns to the beginning of the series with a renewed take on covert operations and global tension. The game is expected to reframe its espionage narrative for a modern audience while keeping secrecy and restraint at its core. Its atmosphere remains serious and grounded, built around infiltration and intelligence work.
Best known as the company that made Rayman, a bright and colorful platformer. Splinter Cell was not that. It was a dark and serious stealth action game that favored slow, methodical movements over frantic action. And no one was quite sure how fans would react.
Maybe it's better if I didn't see anything.
To find out more about the development of that first game and the lasting effects it had, we spoke to some of the folks that helped launch the original Splinter Cell and some that are helping to bring it back.
Sam Fisher. I can't believe you beat me here.
I like to be early.
Very first time we really understood that we had a hit in our hands is, I guess, when we were talking to Microsoft. Like, we had that feeling, that gut feeling, but it wasn't validated by anything, and we never had a hit before at Ubisoft, like not a big one like that. When Microsoft came to us and looked at it, they knew also something was up, and they were considering it for their E3 showcase at the time for showing off the Xbox. And it was super scary for us because we're like, how are people going to react? We don't know because it's very dark. Is it going to come through nicely on the screen? Is it going to show off its colors?
The feedback we received from E3 was so incredible, so it just gave us a huge push to get things done and get this game to the level of the expectations.
Probably for E3 and for our competitors and for for players at large, it probably came out of nowhere.
There was this whole, who is Ubisoft? It was a transformation of what Ubisoft could do and how they were regarded.
That was very special because at that time at Ubisoft Montreal, we were producing games, but we were not in a AAA mindset at that time. And this game became somehow a great inspiration from the teams. And from that moment, when Splinter Cell did release with a very cool feedback and nice reviews and nice popularity as well, this has been an incredible trigger for the whole studio to reach for this level of achievement for other games.
But what exactly was it that drew in audiences at that E3? What did Splinter Cell do that set it apart from the crowd? The answer, as it turns out, was pretty black and white.
Light, shadow. It's instantly relatable and instantly something that you know how to play with.
People paid attention because they had never seen such amazing visuals at first. That whole shadow and light was beautiful, and it was giving a dimension that they had never played with.
And it had to do with the Xbox and the ability of the Xbox to render these dynamic lights with dynamic shadows and dynamic real-time shadows. And it was really the ambition of the team early on to push the visual fidelity of the game as far as we could. The way art and level design had to work together to deal with, how dynamic lights would affect the gameplay as well as the visuals was probably one of the biggest challenges of development.
It was one of those times where a game came out and just really had a brilliant presentation that was so critical for the actual design itself. So you can only imagine how exciting that would have been for the team.
The first time we saw the fish tanks that you could shoot the fish tanks and the water would lower down with the stream and down to the level of the bullet hole, and then it would stop, and you could keep shooting it and lowering it. Little tweaks like that, little surprises that people just found the time and the energy to put in to add the polish and the care to the game. That was great.
I remember thinking to myself, I was super blown away by the tech advances that were part of that game, the stencil shadows and the moving cloth and the thermal goggles and all of the stuff. And I just remember thinking to myself, how that was even possible at the time.
Visually, it was amazing. The light effects were remarkable, ahead of anything else that was being done at the time. But it was even more than that.
The use and exploitation of light and shadow set Splinter Cell apart from its competitors, but it would take more than that to deliver on the development team's promise. A promise they felt so strongly about, they put it right on the box art.
Stealth action redefined was born out of the fact that this was a challenge to the god of tactical espionage action, which was Metal Gear Solid. It was really the mission that Splinter Cell set out for itself. It was, okay, if we're going to take espionage, if we're going to take stealth action, how are we going to position that in a way that fits the Tom Clancy brand values as well?
We had Rainbow Six, Redstone was working on Ghost Recon. Those were obvious Tom Clancy games, but Splinter Cell came from Montreal. And Montreal wasn't working on Tom Clancy at the time. And when we looked at it, we looked at the fantasy, we looked at the realism and the techno-thriller aspect of it. We figured that would perfectly fit under Tom Clancy.
Back then, there was a lot of, a lot of games that were very kind of heavy on just shoot, kill, be done. That's how you get through these situations. Splinter Cell made you slow down, it made you think, it made you kind of try to understand the threats that were ahead of you, and it layered all of those features together. And it rewarded players for thinking differently, for being a bit more kind of patient with the way that they chose to solve those situations.
The idea of being the one who can make the difference, who can go into those places that no one's supposed to be able to go to and do what no one's supposed to be able to do. That's an incredibly powerful fantasy, and it's a lot of fun to be that person.
We used an actor that was a recognized person. That was new at the time.
Anybody have a line back to third echelon?
I'm here, Fisher.
What the hell's going on?
Nicolad's just declared war on the U.S.
What?
Now it's something that a lot of people do, a lot of game publishers. It's kind of normal, but at the time it wasn't. And we really looked at it like, first it was a Clancy brand, so we looked at it like something bigger than just a video game, marketed it that way, and created a persona.
Sam's a great character. He's smart, he's funny, he's fast, he does what he can do with a minimum of waste. He's high speed, low drag, and he's just an incredibly fun character to play.
While Sam is unequivocally the star of the Splinter Cell franchise, let's be honest, he'd get nowhere without his signature night vision goggles. Not only are they an essential tool in Sam's arsenal, they're the symbol of the entire franchise. Those 3 green dots and that iconic sound, yep, that sound is enough to know exactly what game you're dealing with.
The sound came in very late, and I think that we didn't realize how important and valuable it was until someone said, you know, we really got to have a much more iconic sound in here somewhere. And it had this kind of very military feel to it. We were trying to create something that felt very realistic and modern. And, you know, just because of the speed at which technology moves, it kind of became its own thing in time, and it adhered to sort of the genuineness of it and kind of stuck.
19 years ago, Splinter Cell put Ubisoft on the map and changed the landscape for stealth action games across the industry. Now, thanks to the upcoming remake, a brand new generation can experience the best Splinter Cell has to offer. For future updates on the Splinter Cell remake, follow this channel and visit us at news.ubisoft.com.
Most people think time is like a river that flows swift and sure in one direction.
Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time remake retells the story of a young prince whose actions unravel both time and fate. The game looks to preserve the original narrative arc while updating its presentation and pacing. Its atmosphere balances myth, regret, and motion through ancient royal spaces.
Only the dagger can unlock the sands of time.
No! Stop!
No!
Father! I saw my father turn to sand.
You cannot defeat this enemy. The sands will consume everything.
Come with me then. But I warn you, I move pretty fast. You'd better keep up.
Prince! The dagger! It can turn back time!
Give me the dagger!
Never! I brought this on us.
You are brave and good.
Don't let go!
Quack will look him.
Halo Campaign Evolved revisits the opening chapter of humanity's conflict with an alien alliance through a rebuilt campaign structure. The game aims to reintroduce the mystery of the Halo ring while expanding narrative clarity. Its atmosphere remains vast and militaristic, grounded in survival and discovery.
One with unimaginable power.
Chief, you gotta find the cartographer. We'll keep him busy as long as we can.
Fire Team Charlie, we're on our way.
Touchdown! Hit it, Marine! Somebody order a warthog.
putting up a real fight. The cartographer must be here.
Rock and roll! Rock and roll!
Give them hell, Chief.
Have you ever been disrespected?
Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag Remake brings back a pirate-era story built around ambition, loyalty, and personal freedom. The game is expected to refine its narrative flow while retaining its identity as a sea-driven historical adventure. Its atmosphere reflects danger, independence, and conflict across land and ocean.
Are you driven by reckless desire? Calling the ruthless, fearless masses, willing to pledge allegiance to no one. Calling all who are ready to unite under the Black Flag.
It's been years.
Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis revisits an early chapter in Lara Croft's path as an adventurer and archaeologist. The game looks toward ancient myths and lost civilizations as narrative anchors. Its atmosphere leans toward isolation, mystery, and the tension of uncovering what was meant to stay hidden.
New discoveries, waiting behind every door. Across every chasm. I didn't know then the path this adventure would send me on. That it lit a fire that still burns. I need to see more. I need to go further. To uncover the secrets of Atlantis. Some legends are destined to be retold.
We made a promise to solve the world's mysteries, didn't we?
Dragon Quest VII Reimagined Reform, a long-form fantasy story that unfolds across many lands and eras. It aims to reintroduce its narrative scope while maintaining its traditional role-playing structure. Its atmosphere remains calm and reflective, shaped by history, consequence, and gradual change.
Something only I can do.
Did he prevail? Doth he yet rule over this realm?
This is the stuff! You and me battling side by side again. Flame Splitter!
Have you ever wondered why the formation of the barrier went out of control?
Gothic 1 Remake rebuilds a dark fantasy tale set inside a closed society ruled by power and survival. The game looks to preserve its reactive narrative structure while modernizing presentation. Its atmosphere remains harsh and oppressive, defined by danger, hierarchy, and mistrust.
Things in this god's-forsaken colony. And every convict will eventually succumb to its influence. The old camp, with their pitiful illusion of order and safety. And yes, the so-called Brotherhood of the Sleeper, worshipping their mysterious god. They might be onto something. And the orcs. Well, you might dismiss their culture as primitive, but it would be prudent to study them carefully. Maybe the key to all of this lies buried deep under their sanctuaries. I cannot unravel these mysteries all alone. I need allies. Allies who look out for more than their own survival. Allies who accomplish things you might have considered impossible. Allies I will meet soon enough.
Turok Origins introduces a new narrative beginning that reconnects the series with its primal science fiction roots. The game is expected to establish a fresh identity through conflict against overwhelming threats. Its atmosphere is tense and aggressive, driven by survival and constant danger. Fable returns as a narrative-driven fantasy role-playing game built around personal choice and consequence. The game aims to reintroduce Albion through a new story while keeping its fairy tale character. Its atmosphere balances light-hearted moments with moral weight.
Dangerous things.
Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 moves toward the conclusion of a reimagined retelling of a classic story. The game is expected to resolve long-running conflicts established across earlier entries. Its atmosphere remains dramatic and introspective, shaped by destiny, loss, and confrontation.
Money?
You gonna stand there and pretend you can't hear the planet crying out in pain? I know you can!
I'd worry less about the planet and more about the next 5 seconds.
Okay, that was pretty cool. You weren't thinking of leaving Midgar anytime soon, were you?
Well, seems this old friend of mine's in a tight spot. A long time ago I made a promise, so...
I'm really glad to have you back, Cloud. Really glad.
Little Nightmares Enhanced Edition returns to a disturbing narrative told through silence and scale. The game maintains its focus on vulnerability within hostile environments while refining its presentation. Its atmosphere remains oppressive and unsettling, built on fear of the unknown.
people lost things in the blackout.
Blade Runner 2033 Labyrinth introduces a new story within a dystopian future, where artificial life and human identity exist in constant tension. The game looks toward an investigation-driven narrative that unfolds through observation, dialogue, and difficult truths. Rather than fast conflict, it places attention on moral uncertainty and quiet discovery. The atmosphere remains restrained and somber, shaped by isolation, reflection, and unanswered questions.
Picking through the pieces. Being someone else. In places that no longer exist. That's where you'll find me. Searching. In the land of the dead.